So I'm here to talk a little bit about the National ALS Registry. Just a few background slides, and then we're going to get to some other information. So the National ALS Registry came about by an act of Congress in 2008. It launched in 2010, so we are 15 years old now. And the National ALS Biorepository launched in 2013. In addition, every year the registry has an annual meeting. This year, the annual meeting will be held virtually, October 22nd to the 23rd, and registration is now open. Oops. So by you joining, you can help create a better future for persons living with ALS by providing more information for research and helping researchers to get a better understanding of ALS. So I'm pleased to be presenting today with my colleague, Brittany Mullins, who is on the Care Services team in Florida and has a lot of interactions at clinic and support group and with people who are newly diagnosed to talk about the registry. And I thought it might be helpful to kind of ask Brittany what she's hearing, when she talks about the National ALS Registry, what kind of questions are being asked, what kind of comments are being made, and so we put together just a few of the typical questions that come up. So, Brittany?
So my name's Brittany, and as Patty said, I'm one of the care services managers. So part of my role is I do attend our multidisciplinary ALS clinics. And while I'm at the clinics, I do get asked a lot of questions about the registry. For most people just getting their diagnosis, it's not something that they even know exists until after they get their diagnosis. They hear their clinic teams talk about it. They might hear one of us from the association talk about it. So there's a lot of interest, but also a lot of questions we get. So in speaking to someone at clinic recently, they mentioned, surely because of my diagnosis, I'm already counted, right? Because I have ALS, don't I automatically go on to the registry? So Patty, if someone has ALS, are they automatically counted?
Sort of. So I'm going to show you a schematic here that shows the two ways that the National ALS Registry finds out about cases of ALS. So on the left-hand side of the screen is sort of the automatic passive way. The registry does collect data from Medicare, Medicaid, and the VA, but it takes literally years to get that data, sort through it, analyze it, and make it meaningful, and all it's doing is counting cases. So that does happen, but it doesn't happen fast, and it doesn't happen right away. On the other side is a website portal at cdc.gov/ALS, where people living with ALS are invited to go online and create a personal account with the registry. By doing that, you can complete the risk factor surveys that will ask questions about, what kind of work did you do? Were you in law enforcement? Were you exposed to toxins? What kind of sports did you play? Did you ever have a head injury? Did you serve in the military? These kinds of questions. It's also an opportunity to sign up with the biorepository and offer to submit a blood sample. And this is what leads to research. It's the researchers use these samples from the biorepository, and they use these data sets from the risk factor surveys to conduct their research and try and learn more about what people living with ALS have in common. And it's also a way to confirm your case early, so you don't have to wait for the 4 or 5 years that it takes for the other cases to come in. And this is a slide I put together that shows over 120 published journal articles to date, and dozens of researchers have used the biosamples. So by doing this one task, it's not a one and done thing where you're just participating in this little research study and that's it. Your data goes on and contributes to a multitude of research questions that researchers are seeking to answer.
So Patty, if I'm talking to someone with ALS and they tell me, I don't even know if I'm registered, how can they find out? And if they're not, or even if they're interested in joining the registry, how do they get registered?
That's a great question, because the diagnosis of ALS, we know, can be overwhelming. You have a lot of people coming into your circle of support. You've got clinic, you might have home health, you've got equipment, you've got other research that you're looking into. Maybe you're part of the Healy platform trials, and it's like, I don't know if I did this. I'm getting emails, but I don't really know what you're talking about, and how do I find out? So the simplest thing to do is just to go online at the website to cdc.gov/ALS, as I mentioned. And you can either, if you know you don't have an account and none of this looks familiar, just go to the highlighted section here that says Join the National ALS Registry. But if it looks familiar, but you're not sure, you can just try and log into your account. So if you click on that section, it'll bring you up to a login screen. And so just throw in the username and password that you think you might have used and see if you can log in. It'll give you an opportunity to retrieve your username or reset your password if that's needed. Or if, again, nothing's coming up, it doesn't seem to recognize you, you can go right to join the registry from there. And then once you're in, then you want to click on the available surveys link to answer those risk factor survey questions.
So sometimes I do come across folks who either don't have a computer at home or maybe don't use a smartphone. Other times there might be people that are like, I'm really interested in doing this and being a part of this, but I just think I need just a little bit of help. So for people who want help, is there any help available for them?
Yeah, so first of all, it's always okay to get help. So if your caregiver can help you or you have a family member who can help you, that's absolutely okay, so long as it's your information and you're answering the questions. But if you need help, we have a new program that just started. It is with trained volunteers. The volunteers have been trained on how to handle personally identifiable sensitive information. They've been trained on being a volunteer at the ALS Association. And we've had a number of volunteers who have actually helped people complete all of the risk factor surveys by phone. So they didn't even have to get on a computer. And they just transcribe the information for them, so that's available. You could also be matched with a volunteer just to get you started, just to make sure that you can get your account and get logged in and get started, or they can help you from beginning to end. It takes on average 1 to 2 hours to complete everything. It takes longer if you've had kind of a more complex life history, if you've lived multiple places, had multiple jobs, played multiple sports. Those might take a little bit longer. But you can meet with a volunteer at your schedule. They'll either call you or set up a Zoom, something similar to a Zoom or on Google Meet, and you can take it at your own pace. So maybe you want to work for 20 minutes once a week until you get it done, or you can just get everything done in one shot. It's really whatever you need. They can also just be an accountability partner. So you can just say, will you call me next week and just make sure that I've started this? We have more information at the table in the vendor hall, and we have flyers as well that you can take. We have a website at als.org/join the registry that will take you to an online form where you can complete a request to be matched.
Now, Patty, you mentioned that the registry has an annual meeting. And that sounds something like I would want to join, and maybe other people would as well. Is that a meeting that anybody can join? And if so, how do I register?
Absolutely. So the meeting this year will be October 22nd and 23rd. It won't be all day. It'll just be for a few hours each day. Registration is free, and it just opened, and it is online. So I need to update the slide because it says register online soon, but it's open now. So if you just go to cdc.gov/ALS, at the top of the page, it will announce the annual meeting. And sometimes people will ask me, I can't make it that day, but is the meeting going to be recorded? And they don't record the meetings, so try to attend live if you can. But if not, then they will publish a summary afterwards. So thanks for asking those questions, Brittany. I hope that helps.
Thank you for having me, Patty.